Word podcast and dropped major gems, bro. She let it be known that Stephanie White do not want her to shoot threes. Yes, this is not clickbait. Oh my goodness, guys, check this out.
So professionally, like that Liberty game, I feel like as a shooter, like when you see like 2 or 3 go in, especially like for me, like if I have 2 back to back in a row, like I'm probably gonna launch a third that maybe isn't advised by Steph, but like I gotta get it up. And then if the third.
Recent developments have emerged regarding tensions between Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White and star player Caitlin Clark. Reports suggest significant disagreements over offensive strategy and player utilization that could impact the team's future direction. The situation has become increasingly apparent as White appears to be implementing a structured offensive system that limits Clark's natural shooting abilities. Sources indicate the coaching staff is restricting Clark from taking her signature deep three-point attempts, which has raised concerns among fans and analysts about the team's strategic approach. During a recent podcast appearance, Clark discussed her shooting philosophy and the challenges of playing within certain system constraints.
Gotta get it up. And then if the third goes in, like you're just hot. I think as a shooter, like your confidence just builds and builds and builds. It's just coming off your hand better. The rim looks.
Now that was Caitlin Clark speaking about Stephanie White not really wanting her to take shots, but we all can recall Stephanie pretty much saying that they're going to run this motion offense. But not only that, you had Kelsey Mitchell in a previous interview, which I'm going to get the footage, kind of breaking down that they want to be an in-the-paint type team. How do you want to be an in-the-paint type team when you got Louis?
She explained how momentum builds for shooters when they see consecutive shots fall, describing the natural instinct to attempt additional shots when feeling confident. Clark noted that after making 2 consecutive shots, the urge to take a third attempt becomes strong, even when it might not align with coaching preferences. She emphasized how shooting confidence compounds when players are in rhythm, with each successful shot improving their feel and accuracy. This revelation provides insight into the ongoing tension between Clark's individual talents and the team's systematic approach. White has previously stated her intention to implement a motion offense, while teammates have described plans to focus on interior scoring rather than perimeter shooting.
You want to be an in-the-paint type team when you got literally shooters that can shoot from damn near anywhere on the court, bro. This is looking spooky. Go to the B-side. Sabrina Ionescu already won a championship in New York. She already have proven herself in New York. There's no reason whatsoever for her to come to Indy, bro. Not whatsoever. And as of right now, I don't think she'd come. I think she's trying to get Caitlin to go to New York, but I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong.
This strategy seems counterintuitive given the roster's collection of capable long-range shooters. The coaching decisions have sparked speculation about potential roster changes or coaching adjustments. Some observers believe the current system fails to maximize the team's offensive capabilities, particularly regarding players who excel at shooting from extended distances. Meanwhile, other WNBA developments have continued to unfold. Sabrina Ionescu has already achieved championship success with New York, establishing herself as a proven winner in that market.
I think she's trying to get Caitlin to go to New York, but I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong.
So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just United front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just, we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was.
Given her current situation, there appears to be little incentive for her to consider relocation to Indiana. Recent All-Star Weekend activities highlighted broader league dynamics and player unity initiatives. During press conferences, players discussed coordinated messaging efforts, with some team representatives notably absent from organizational meetings. Players wore matching shirts to demonstrate solidarity on various league issues. Kelsey Plum addressed questions about team participation in these unity efforts, noting that certain players were not present for important organizational discussions.
Situation light, okay? But yeah, no, I think it was just all of us getting on the same page for the game. We wanted to do something that was just united and collective, and I thought that it was a very powerful moment and got the point across. And sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Anyone else? In the back right. For either of you, I mean, this is not the first time that you guys have used shirts to sort of make a message as players. I'm thinking back to like the Brittany Griner jerseys a few years ago at the All-Star game. Just what is it about this setting that
She described the coordinated shirt wearing as a powerful collective statement that communicated their message without requiring verbal explanation. The conversation extended to the unique platform that all-star events provide for player advocacy. Players emphasized how these gatherings represent the only opportunity for the league's top talent to unite in one location for extended periods, making it ideal for collective action and discussion of shared concerns. Multiple players reflected on the weekend's significance, noting increased attendance and engagement across all events compared to previous years. The three-point contest skill.
what is it about this setting, that method of, you know, using that to communicate a message that's special for WNBA players?
I mean, it's the only time when all of your best players are kind of united and able to be in the same building, you know, for an entire weekend and talk through what it is that, you know, we want to do collectively. And so there's no better time than to be able to do it at the All-Star break when everyone's kind of able to come together, be in meetings, show up to CBA, you know, talks.
The league's growth trajectory was a recurring theme, with veterans acknowledging the dramatic changes in crowd sizes and player experiences compared to earlier seasons. Players emphasized their accessibility to fans as a unique characteristic of the WNBA, distinguishing it from other professional sports leagues. International fan engagement also received attention, with players noting the presence of supporters who traveled from countries like New Zealand, Australia, and the Philippines to attend All-Star events. This global reach was highlighted as evidence of the league's expanding influence and the importance of player visibility as role models for young fans worldwide. Regarding ongoing collective bargaining discussions, players maintained unified messaging about their negotiation position.
Together, be in meetings, show up to CBA, you know, talks, and be able to understand what it is that we want to do with the attention that we have this weekend.
Kelsey, I'd asked Sabrina and Kelsey Mitchell about this as well, but just, you know, somebody who's been in this league when crowds were smaller than they are now, when the player experience is in multiple places was fundamentally different. Just what does a weekend like this mean for you? And are you used to it? Is this, you know, Sabrina talked about as the kind of, this is the normal, this is the expected. I'm just wondering how you process.
They acknowledged accomplishing their awareness-building goals during the weekend while indicating they would await the league's private response before determining next steps in their advocacy efforts. The situation in Indiana remains fluid, with questions about whether coaching adjustments or roster changes might be necessary to optimize team performance. The disconnect between available talent and current strategic implementation continues to generate discussion about the franchise's direction and commitment to maximizing their competitive potential. Sophie Cunningham participated in a media session where she addressed questions regarding WNBA compensation structures and season length. Cunningham holds significant standing within the league, having previously served as a representative for the Phoenix Mercury organization until the current season.
As the kind of, this is the normal, this is the expected. I'm just wondering how you process this and where you are on it at this point.
It was an incredible weekend. I mean, this is my fourth time, and I thought by far it was the most packed, not just from the game standpoint, but three-point contest, skills contest, as well as, you know, the orange carpet was live. We had W live events. I mean, every event that I saw that a player was doing was absolutely packed. Lines wrapped around, and it was just really cool to see the fan engagement and also just see the excitement and the need for
Her profile among basketball enthusiasts remains substantial, with considerable fan recognition across the sport. During the interview, reporters questioned Cunningham about the current 44-game season format and whether she believed this schedule required expansion or modification. Additionally, inquiries were made concerning merchandise revenue streams and their relationship to player compensation. Cunningham's response was direct and pointed. She suggested that Commissioner Kathy Engelbert should focus on increasing player salaries before engaging in discussions about schedule changes. Her statement emphasized the need for improved financial compensation as a prerequisite for any meaningful dialogue about league modifications.
I think she was asked something. I think she might have been asked something about jersey sales as well, but they were also asked about 44 games, and she was like, "Tell her to pay us."
How does that sound?
Yeah, you can just tell Kathy to pay us, and then we can have a discussion. So, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think she's wrong. I don't think she's wrong here. I don't think she's wrong with with having to, you know,
The response highlights ongoing tensions within the WNBA regarding player compensation structures. Cunningham's position reflects a broader sentiment among athletes who believe current salary levels remain insufficient given the league's growing popularity and revenue generation. Several observers noted Cunningham's apparent fatigue during the interview, suggesting she appeared tired or possibly,
you know, well, with complaining about the pay structure. And there's one really weird thing about this. Like, it's clear that Sophie Cunningham is hungover. Like, it is very, very clear that Sophie Cunningham is hungover here. Like, she does not want to be there. She just wants to get home. Like, it's been a long weekend. It's been a long weekend. She wants to get back, rest before they go off to New York and lose by 40. Like, it's a given. It's a given.
Teams like the Indiana Fever have demonstrated substantial profitability through merchandise sales, particularly player jerseys that have consistently sold out inventory. Revenue calculations suggest that jersey sales alone could potentially cover individual player salaries multiple times over. Conservative estimates indicate that selling approximately 10,000 jerseys throughout a season would generate sufficient revenue to match a typical player's annual salary. Given the high demand and consistent sellout patterns, teams likely exceed these numbers significantly, creating substantial profit margins beyond player compensation costs. The broader context involves comparing WNBA financial structures with other professional sports organizations.
Like, it's a given. It's a given. The Fever are not going to be even close whatsoever tomorrow. But at the end of the day, it's it is what it is. And if you guys haven't seen the Hatelens, somebody drug test her now. She looks like that's just the reality. Is they're like, oh, somebody drug test her now. It's like, oh man, she's hungover. She's hungover. Like, it's like.
Many established teams across various sports leagues operate at losses while investing in talent acquisition and development. Major franchises often write off larger amounts in single transactions than the entire WNBA has lost throughout its operational history. This perspective challenges arguments that league-wide financial constraints justify current compensation levels. Professional sports organizations routinely invest heavily in talent acquisition as a long-term strategy for revenue growth and competitive success. Player responses regarding compensation have become increasingly unified across the league roster.
Like, these people have never, of course I'm blocked by these people. Of course I'm blocked by half of the people saying the drug tester. Somebody drug tester. Like, these people are nut jobs. They're actually crazy. It's like you've never been hungover before in your life. Or even tired. Even tired. It's the same feeling being tired and sick as being hungover. Like, I'm sorry, I think they just had a very much.
Athletes consistently emphasize that current salary structures do not reflect their contribution to league revenue generation. Notably, players receive no direct compensation from merchandise sales featuring their names and likenesses. The situation differs significantly from potential work stoppages or organized labor actions. Current player statements represent individual opinions rather than coordinated negotiation tactics or threatened job actions. League officials have not indicated any formal labor disputes or contract renegotiation processes.
Very much had a long-held weekend. Long-held weekend, but look, I don't mind if the players answer this for every single question. If they just answer, pay us more. Because at the end of the day, look, there are teams definitely that are losing money, but like, to act like the Indiana Fever are not drastically profiting. They sold out of her jerseys. So they easily made.
American professional sports leagues operate under unique structural constraints compared to international sporting organizations. Unlike promotion and relegation systems common elsewhere, franchises maintain their positions regardless of financial investment levels or competitive performance. This structure creates different incentive patterns for ownership groups regarding talent investment and competitive spending. Teams can maintain cost-cutting approaches without facing relegation consequences, potentially affecting overall league competitiveness and player compensation standards.
So they easily made, let's just say they easily made her salary on on our jerseys. They would have only have had to have sold 10,000 of our jerseys over the course of the year. That's all they would have had to have sold to make the money back there or thereabouts, considering how much the Fever make per jersey sale. Probably about 10,000 jerseys to make our salary back, and I would say
The collective bargaining process will likely address these compensation concerns through formal negotiation channels. Player representatives and league officials will need to balance financial realities with athlete compensation expectations during upcoming contract discussions. Cunningham's direct approach to addressing compensation questions reflects a straightforward communication style that resonates with many observers. Her willingness to prioritize salary discussions over other league matters demonstrates clear priorities regarding player welfare and financial equity.
I would say they 100% have. They 100% have made like all of that back and significantly more. All of it back and way more. But yeah, it is. Look, it is what it is. It is what it is, and players are obviously pissed. And in my opinion, players are probably rightfully pissed at the amount of money they're making. At the end of the day, you might be saying,
Various social media reactions to the interview ranged from supportive to critical, with some commentators making inappropriate suggestions about Cunningham's condition during the session. Such responses often reflect broader tensions within fan communities rather than substantive analysis of the underlying compensation issues. The interview occurred during a period when several high-profile players have faced intense scrutiny and criticism across social media platforms. These patterns often involve exaggerated claims and personal attacks that extend beyond legitimate sports commentary.
the money they're making. At the end of the day, you might be saying, oh, but like these players, like the league's losing money, but like a lot of leagues lose money. A lot of teams lose money. Like the Phoenix Suns have lost more money in the last year than the WNBA has in its history. Like the Phoenix Suns wrote off more money in Bradley Beal's buyout than the WNBA have lost in the last decade.
Previous legal proceedings have included unsubstantiated rumors involving league personnel and players, demonstrating how speculation can spread despite lacking factual foundation. Such incidents highlight the importance of distinguishing between verified information and unconfirmed gossip in professional sports coverage. The compensation discussion continues to evolve as the WNBA experiences growth in viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales. Player perspectives on salary equity will likely influence future collective bargaining negotiations and league policy decisions regarding revenue distribution and compensation structures.